Well, it's Margaret again from M.E.s Orchids, and we're actually in the seas. But unfortunately yesterday I missed two of the bees out. Don't ask me how. They're tucked away in the orchid room, and when I was sorting out this morning to see what we're going to video, I thought, oh dear, there's two I've missed. And so this one here is the Barcaria areca, and you'll see that label. This is a recent acquisition, and you'll see there's a new root there, and we've got a new growth coming out there. And this is in I've just mounted that on a larger piece of wood, well, remounted it, and that's ready to be watered today. This has to be watered every day, but you can see that's doing fine. So we'll put that one down here, and the other one is the BLC Yen 24 Carat Gold. Now this is another one of those that I've struggled with scale, and I don't think it's had fusarium because I've checked. But I first had it on in April 16, and then I split it on the 28th of December 16, and I've repotted it on the 9th September 17, and it's still struggling. However, if you'll see, there are signs of it now recovering, although, can you see that new growth which started to rot there? And so we've got that new root there, and I've anchored that this morning, and we've got signs of a new growth there. Now whether this will ever do anything, I've no idea. It's one of those that I keep thinking I'll throw away. I mean, 2016, I didn't know what it was doing at all. But then Michael from Florida said the Bifrenaria, and he said, because you know I threw that in the dustbin yesterday, and I felt so guilty this morning that I went and got it out of the dustbin, and I thought, oh God, if it's, you know, Michael said they're at least $55, and here's me throwing this away. So what I've done is mounted this. Can you see? Can you see? There's a natural dip in that wood there. So that first pseudobulb, with a bit of flourish glue, I've pushed in there, and it's got this habit of growing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the newest, very weak growth. So I feel really guilty now. And this morning when I got it out of the, we call it the brown bin, it's the garden waste bin, and that's collected tomorrow. So, and when I opened the bin this morning, after reading Michael's comment, there was a great big massive slug on this leaf. So, managed to get rid of that. And so that's it. I've mounted it on this piece of cork bark. It's in the right direction and it's going up. So we've given that another lease of life. And I mean, I couldn't send it to Michael actually at this moment in time because it wouldn't survive the journey. It's not healthy enough. And of course it's coming into their very hot season. But if there was any way I can, you know what I mean, send that to Michael, I would do. But I want to just get it on the road to recovery. So that's that one. So those were the two B's. Now let's go on to the C's. So the C's to me represent, let me have a look. I'll do it this way around. I'll do the smallest, and then we'll come to the biggest ones. C is Cattleya, and this little one here is Cattleya cernua. This is a new acquisition. Oh, I must cut those big leaves. This, I've not cut them out. There's a little stone I've put there. And so far, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I've had this now, I must have had it 3 or 4 weeks. So I'll look for anything visible that might give me some hope. There maybe is a bit of an eye there, and there's something just there. Don't know whether you'll see that. That's going to be watered today. But up till now, there's nothing, no roots. I'll just have to be patient, you know, you can't write them all off straight away. So that's that one. I'm going to show you this one on this community mount, which is Cattleya Seagull's Gem, Millerai by Luteolia. And this is only a tiny one, as you can see. But we've got a new growth there. And we've got a tiny, and I mean tiny, little green growing tip. So that's doing fine. And we'll look at the others when we come to that part of the alphabet. Okay, so the next one, now I think this comes into the Catasetum and not the Momodia, but I could be wrong. And this is my Fred Clark Aria, After Dark SVO Black Cherry. And this one was also a recent acquisition. And I've been following William of My Green Pets. And he also put another link through to a gentleman who is very experienced in this kind of orchid. And this came to me rather wet. Oh, look at that, that's my first signs. Can you see that there? I've been looking ever such a lot, trying to find a root that's going down. Because what William is saying, and the census of opinion, is that you don't water until the roots nearly enough touch the bottom. So when I received this was a lovely big plump bulb here, and it was quite damp, and I knew from watching other videos that you're not supposed to have this this media wet. It's only sphagnum moss. You'll see there's a nice root there. Can you see that root there? And there's a nice root there. Can you see? There. And it's also sent the roots down. I try and cover these up, and I really don't want, I want them to go down, but I don't know how to entice them to go down. So this one, this bulb, I mean some of the bulbs, they look horrendous, but I am assured that you're not supposed to water. I thought it was going to be sometime in May, but apparently now it's going to be sometime in June. I don't know, I'm going to keep covering that up. I don't know whether this type actually has aerial roots. I don't think it's an aerial root. Anyway, I'm digressing. So I'm just going to put that into the Catasetum range. So there we go. That's another one. And I put that up there out of the way so I don't break my neck. And then I'm going to go to this one now. And this is Cattleya Intermedia by Intermedia var Aquini. And what can I say about these? I've had these. Again, you see, 2016, September 2016, and then it was repotted again in 17. And just due to inexperience, I mean, these are due for watering, but you can see how weather beaten this poor orchid is. It's trying. It sends out a new growth, and it's sent out a couple here, and there's the top ones, but nothing really happening yet. And maybe I might get more into Cattleyas, but we'll just have to see. Now this one here is another one. I've not even put one. It was repotted, but this is the Cattleya violacea by intermedia var rosea. And it's a shame, really, you know, because this one is trying its damnedest to grow. And in fact, I don't know if you'll see. Can you see? Oops, there, the nice green root. And I do believe somewhere, I've just seen it somewhere, we might have a new growth. Oh, I think it's that side. Under there somewhere. Down there. Now this is just in lava rock, and it's desperately in need of watering. And I do water and feed these quite regularly. That's the newest. Can you see? That's the newest growth. But the rest, I've got all these markings on. Look at that one. And I don't know whether this was because of scale. Let's have a look in there. Can you see right down there? If I bring that up, can you see how the scale's been down there? There's no live scale on this because it's had that many treatments. Nothing could live on this, but those are the remnants of scale. So it's decimated this plant. And I'm going to put that down here now. Just bear with me a minute. And then so I'm going to pick this. I've got two now to pick up, and this one here is in this basket, and this is my Pastoral Innocence. Can you see the roots? Excuse the rats, the canes. Can you see? There. Oh, underneath. Can you see underneath? Absolutely full of roots, this is. And this one was desperate to survive because when I realised that I'd got scale, I actually had to give this such harsh treatment that I didn't think it would survive. There are some roots down there that look as though I could cut them off, but because it's anchored down in here, I don't like to touch it. Let me just show you. You see these deep crevices it has here? You see here, the deep crevices. That's where the scale hides. And also down here in these I don't know what you call these. The leads. And this was my latest growth last year, and if you'll notice just down there, can you see where my finger is? That's going to be the growth for this year. And so this loves it, and it's showing me now because it's got all these nice new growing tips. It's had a little bit of sunburn, can you see there? and that's permanent, and I've got sunburn there. But we just have to live with that. And so this growth came this side, and this one's going that way. So I'm quite happy to leave it in this basket for another year, and then we'll check on it after. Okay, so that's that one. Now let me just bring you this one, and I don't know if you're going to see this one, so I might have to just stand up. And I'm bringing this in because although it's a Laelia, it's actually in the Cattleya now. And this is the Purpurata, semi-albert duncle, and this gave me a bloom last year, and it was in one of those baskets. But if I stand up and show you, just bear with me. Okay, there we go. Now, if I just position myself right, there is a sheath. Now, I can't tell whether there's anything in that sheath down there, but I'm led to believe that these can produce a sheath that lasts, well, it can take 12 months to open. And if we go down, now I'm reluctant to remove any of this here, this outer casing, because if you'll see, they grow quite long, and this just gives them that little bit of extra strength. And you'll see there we've got two nice big growing tips going down, and we've got that new growth. Now you'd wonder why I took it out of that basket. Well, the reason I took it out of the basket is because this growth here was right actually at the top of a basket, pushing against the plastic. It was as close as that. So I've taken it out and I've positioned it in this clay pot here, terracotta pot. So now, because it's got this habit of wanting to wander, and I think it'll do fine there. It can set those roots down now, down there, and then next year I'll have to check on it again next year, but that's the height of it. Look at that. Look at the size of the leaf. So this is a very big Cattleya, and that's coming along fine. It's got beautiful blooms. So if I put that down here now, and you'll see I'm picking this one up, and this one is a Cymbidium. There it is, it's a named one. Cymbidium Lithglow Lock Lows. I can't read that one. Anyway, this is the last of my Cymbidiums, and but it doesn't look too bad. We've got another, presumably a growth there. This is a new one. This one here is a new one. We stand up, and it's produced this one here. You see what happened there? All these died, but never mind. It's see this. these pseudobulbs here. Really, are just hanging on for grim death. And at some point it will go in the garden, but I have to be very careful in the garden because on three sides we face east, so it gets the morning sun, and then it comes up above us, and then we get the western aspect, so there's very little shade in the summer. But never mind, it's on the road to recovery. That's all we can say about it. So I'm going to put that down now, and if you just bear with me a minute while I just put you on hold a moment, because I'm a little bit tight for space here. And right, Ceologyne. This is one of my favourite ones, and this is Ceologyne bifidiense. And I don't know what those markings are on the leaf. Some kind of deficiency, I think, but I don't know what the deficiency is because it's not on all the leaves. Anyway, this is in this basket now, and this is due for watering. It has this tendency to, once the leaves get old, and I've got one here which I need to cut back, this one here, which I will do. I'll just cut it down there. And so I originally had this in September 16. So, but it's a very, very vigorous plant, and I don't know when, if ever, it'll give me blooms. I have no idea. I don't even know where the blooms come from. This sheath that covers these pseudobulbs is very strong. So I do try, once the bulbs actually matured, I try and just remove a little bit of it. And so that's the extent of that one. There we go. Absolutely enormous. And now, because I've taken one of those baskets down, I think it's the Pamela Hetherington, and also the Cattleya, the Laelia, this can hang up now, there. But it needs watering this morning. And the next one is in the sea, is this little one. And this came from Orchid species, and they no longer, well, they've not been for a year or two now. It's he closed up, and all I've got on here is Ceologyne, and it's a species from Australia. And again, I do struggle. Don't ask me why. I mean, that had a leaf, that had a leaf, that had a leaf. This new growth here, this, can you see? It's very, very weak, and it's got another new growth coming up the side of it. So it's one of those, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I must either be watering it at the wrong time or not watering it enough. I bought that in February 17 and I repotted it in August 18. So we'll just have to see. So that's the extent of the sea orchids in my collection. And again, thank you for joining me. I don't think there's anything else. So it's going to be the weekend now. So from me to you, take care. Bye-bye now.